falling in love with art in a way that intersects with basketball, because my coach told me that I could not do both. She said you have to choose one, but I'm just like, I'm so dynamic and I'm 15, I can do it all. So I did take the path of being an artist, but now at 35, I get to fuse both loves together, and it has manifested into this museum. There's a collection guide here if you want to learn more about the pieces. I've collected all these things on my own, whether it be through someone giving them to me or eBay or Etsy. But I'm really trying to interrogate what the value is of Black women's basketball history, because there's some discrepancies there. Tonight, I am really, really, really honored to moderate this conversation between some of the greatest basketball players that have ever been in Philadelphia. Please give it up for them. So I'd like to call Coach Lillian Penn. Please give it up. Coach Parkway, as well as Cheyney University. I would like to call the legend Yolanda Laney. Please give it up, give it up. For the folks that don't know, like Coach Jones said, this is the original before the Caitlin Clarks and the Hoopers that we know of today. And last but certainly never least, I love this funny story. I was in my pajamas and I bumped into Coach at Whole Foods and I said, please, I'm about to work in women's sports. How can I work with you? I feel like you're either a Temple player or a coach. And she was like, I'm a coach now. So please give it up to Shanita Landry from Temple Women's Basketball. Thank you all. You okay? Thank you. Perfect. So, just a little bit about where my inspiration started. These are the Tribune girls. I think they used to be called the Hot Steppers as well too. This team is from between 1930 and 1940, and they won, I believe it was between 10 and 20 consecutive Negro League basketball championships. And they were the seed, I feel like, to the history and legacy that we all are a part of as Black women hoopers. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed some love to them before we start, because honoring our ancestors is also a part of what is really special in our culture and in our community. Of course, I had to bring a couple more in here just so y'all can see some of the research that I've been doing, some of the other teams that really paved the way. Tilson College, the Washington Bells. We had teams, we were playing, we were thriving, we were athletes from the beginning of when the sport was created, but it wasn't necessarily, those stories and photos and teams weren't uplifted in mainstream media and mainstream culture, and that's where I saw the gap. I'd like to, of course, first introduce Yolanda Laney from Cheyney Women's Basketball. It's a really long list of amazing accomplishments, but I'll take this from our article. From the Canaan Baptist Church League, where her mother, Betty Laney, coached her at 12 years old, to the pinnacle of women's college basketball, former local high school and college basketball standout, Yolanda Laney, looks back while looking ahead. She grew up in West Powelton, section of West Philadelphia, and is now a lawyer and coach, and made sports headlines as a student in the 70s and 80s. Former University City High School student with her coach in the building, Coach Jones. We can give it up for Coach Jones. She's a legend. And then later attended Cheyney University, and of course, for the ones that do know, they went on a 23-game winning streak, advancing to the 1982 inaugural NCAA women's basketball champion. And now she's the varsity head coach at Parkway Center City, where she also holds her record of scoring. Was it 1,254 points? Exactly. But similarly to Coach Laney, also, you can come right on in. also works in the justice as an ally to justice impacted youth. So please give it up to our panel today. So something that I like to start off with, I've been doing a lot of research just talking with different Black women across the country who have played basketball. And I would love to know, I need both mics, I'm crazy. Is this on? Okay. Is it? I would like to know, we can start with you and work our way down. What was your number when you played and why? I feel like it's always an interesting question when people choose their numbers.
Me originally, my number at Temple was number 14. Cynthia was like the number one player that she was on Michael Jordan growing up. When the WNBA was created, that was Michael Jordan, so I chose to be number 14 because of Cynthia.
Thanks. Super.
I chose number 44 because of Iceman George Gervin. He had a bank shot out of this world, and my first shot,
Okay.
I had a three-pointer, so I just thought I was all three of them rolled into one, so I was 21.
Thank y'all. I feel like sometimes people are like, it's my dad's birthday, it's my mama's birthday, it's this person that I love. So this question is for everyone again. What inspired you to pursue the basketball journey and career that you have made the pathway for us for today? Anyone can start.
Yeah, you want to go first? You go.
Yeah.
my mother. My mother played during a time when they had 3-on-3, and some could go over the court and some had to stay on the court. She was a rover, so she played both sides of the court. She grew up in Kershaw, South Carolina, and she wound up going on to play at in her high school at Hillside and at South Carolina State University. So she was my inspiration throughout my entire basketball career, because everything that I asked her for when it came to that sport, whether she had the money for it or not, because I grew up in a poverty situation, she made sure that I felt that I was one of the richest kids in the world. And I had the sneakers when it came out, leather from Canvas. I had the basketball, and I knew we couldn't afford it like that. She got me that, where you pass it off of it and bounce it back so you can work out by yourself. I forget what that thing is called now. So she was my inspiration through my entire career before she passed, right after I graduated from college. So it would be my mom.
For me, I would say it was a combination. It would have to be one study in my head, right? So I hated basketball, but I was taller than all the boys. I'm from North Philly. I was taller than all the boys. I had 4 brothers, and we used to play at the Hank Gathers Center. First, I started playing when I was 9 years old. I didn't know how to play. I scored 2 points on the wrong basket the first year I played. But each team had to have one girl on the team. So Dawn Stelly came and gave us a pep talk and inspired us. And I was playing against my brother, so I always wanted to get closer to my father. And I was like, this is going to be a connecting thing. And me and my brother were very competitive, so it was a combination of both. I'm going to get better than my brothers to show my dad that I'm good, and then Dawn Stelly having this pep talk, just letting us know, if y'all work hard, y'all can be good. Because I was horrible at 9 years old playing basketball. I grew up in Wisconsin, and we played in Broadway growing up, me and my older siblings, and my mom actually taught us how to play, so us learning from another woman, I just want to be good like her and be able to be my brother, so just continue to play with them and get better every day was my reason.
So y'all have competitive spirits and support and family that also was a part of that journey, at least is what I see. So I want to say thank you to all the parents that are here that are supporting their kids or dropped their kids off, or moms that bought the sneakers and all of that. Thank you guys, because it's really important to the success of our young people, and I see that every time I step in this building. So I appreciate the parents and the family members that support, even the siblings that'll come and be here and just wait for their brother or sister. So thank you all. This is Black History Month, and it was very intentional to speak with Black women who were basketball players. Coach Laney and Coach Lil, y'all went to HBCUs. What was your experience of being a Black woman in the times that you all played, whether it be a good experience or hard or a great experience? Could you talk about probably any obstacles that you all had specifically as Black women playing the sport? I'm not good.
For me, it was the greatest experience I had in my life. I've always said in every interview that I have ever done that I would never change the decision that I made to go to Cheyney University. Being at an HBC, you have to know that you're the majority the entire time in your life. And that was the one time in my career, growing up, everything, I felt like I was truly at home. I didn't have to experience any discrimination, any harassment, any mistreatment that I may have experienced when I left that campus and whatnot. So that was my experience, having a family, everyone being there, able to support us, and we had a great backing at Cheyney University. When I played at Cheyney, we were always ranked in the top 10. I played in 4 Final Fours. The first ever championship. 4 Elite Eights and 4 Sweet 16s. So I experienced them all with the group of players that chose to come to an HBCU. So it was a great experience for me. And again, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Coach Hill?
That's a hard story. Now, I didn't have that winning experience. I'm kidding. So I actually went to Johnson C. Smith first, and then I transferred to Cheyney, which is 2 HBCUs. And I can agree with everything she said. It was always a family feeling. The games are always packed, you know what I mean? I know in some schools, people don't come to the women's game. It's like sporadically, people just sprinkled in and then everybody shows up for the boys' games.
Right.
But the gyms were packed for the women's games as much as they were packed for the boys' games. And those rivalries between Cheyney and Lincoln, Kutztown and Lincoln, the PSAC, just playing the PSAC was just a different atmosphere. But it was always family. Like, we showed up and showed love for each other. And then I wouldn't change it for the world.
Coach Anita, women of color have always historically been underrepresented in coaching, leadership, front office roles. What steps do you think still need to be taken to improve this representation? Because I know you work with coaching staff currently.
I mean, to us, actually being visible. Like for me, after I played a bunch of years overseas, for me, just being able to be a coach and be visible for these young ladies to see that you can coach, you can play, do whatever you want, it's just going to be important for us to continue to grow and not being shy about what's going on. We got to talk about it. We got to make sure everybody knows. We have to make sure we come out and support the events like these today. So as long as we're not keeping it quiet, not keeping it secret, and being a part of it, we'll continue to grow.
So visibility, you feel like is the biggest.
Absolutely. I mean, we see what happened when we put the games on TV. So it's just that option to make it happen.
And did you have any obstacles with leadership getting into these front offices or getting onto a coaching staff? I mean, I know your coaching staff is pretty much predominantly full of us, all people of color, but did you have any obstacles in that?
After I first started playing overseas, I did have obstacles because if you didn't coach, people didn't want to hire you. But I actually went to the University of Vermont to coach on an all-white staff. But we had one other black person, but it was pretty much a majority white. What's it called? PWI. It was PWI. So that was a big obstacle, but I made it work. I was visible to all the white people and the black people. So you don't have to do so that people can know you can do it, whether it's at a white school or a black school.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I need all the tips because I'm coming. Yeah, of course.
I think also the movement that Coach Thorne Staley made very visible about the hiring of our black female coaches as head coaches as assistant coaches, because you look at the SEC, you're going to see a lot of African American coaches there. So Dawn, did try that by speaking out with her voice and her platform, and other coaches have done the same, and they began to hire without being fearful of having more than one black on the staff or two blacks on the staff. So I attribute a lot of that to Dawn Staley as well.
Let's give it up for Dawn. I'm not gonna put my girls on blast, but sometimes as a young person, when you have coaches who require discipline, you played for Dawn Staley, you played for Vivian, you played for Coach Jones. Coach Lil, I know you a discipline pathway coach. What did you have to tell yourselves in those moments where maybe you clashed with coach, or maybe you weren't feeling what they said, or maybe you just didn't have it to push yourself that extra mile? Did you guys have anything like a mantra, or just kind of, something you went back to each time if you felt like you were kind of losing confidence?
Well, with me, I coached the AAU for over 40 years. Until when COVID came along, that's when I stopped coaching. And I taught skills here in Philadelphia for over 30-something years. And Dawn was one of my kids who I also taught, and who also came out to the program. It was actually Ms. Jones who introduced Dawn to me when I was in a rec center playing home from Cheney. And she brought Dawn down, wanted to meet me. And I was out there playing full court, stopped playing, came over. Ms. Jones introduced her to myself. I had a little conversation with Dawn. I knew who Dawn was and everything. And then after that, Dawn stayed in the gym. Dawn listened, and that's one of the primary things. You have to listen, even if you don't agree. I was a very disciplined coach, but I was also very relatable as a coach to all the kids that I coached. And so you have to listen, and you have to have self-discipline, and you have to have individual worth and value for yourself. And don't worry what anybody else thinks about you when you're out there longer than they are, or that seems to be the only thing that you have interest in. So just do that, and you'll grow far.
It's go talk.
I played for Dawn, so what she said is the right thing, and Dawn gave it to me, so that's it.
Anything you want to sprinkle in there, Coach Lee?
Same thing, sacrifice. If you gotta want to get better. Like I said, I had 4 brothers. One of them is 6'8" now. But back then he was the shrimp. You know what I'm saying? But we went at it. We all went at it. We wanted to be better than one another. So when one of them beat me one day, I was outside of that court. They never gonna beat me again. And I was the only girl. So being the only girl coming from North Philly with the boys, I didn't want to play with the girls, but I'm like, it's too easy. You know what I mean? When you want to get better, you gotta put that work in. Like Coach just said, you have to want to listen. You gotta want to listen. You gotta want to get better. Can't nobody want to. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, we looking at y'all. It's okay. It's all right.
If you want it, can't nobody want to feel you. Can't nobody want to feel you.
Okay.
Everything she said. Mic drop.
All of these I feel like are big just life lessons in general. That's something I love about basketball, is how it just teaches you so many life lessons, whether you're going to be disciplined on the court, or disciplined with your finances, or disciplined in your relationships with your family, or whatever your lifestyle is. I feel like that's why we love it. And I learned a new phrase, because I lost a bunch of games this weekend, back to back to back, and I was really sad. And then the person said, "Basketball still loves you, and we do too." And I was like, but I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna get in the gym, and I'm gonna win me a pickup game. Can y'all just give it up so far? I feel like we just got gems dropping. It's just legends speaking. I feel like this is an interesting topic that I just want to just touch base on since we're talking to the future of women's basketball players. How, in your opinion, I know you guys didn't grow up in the NIL world, right? In your opinion, what can these young ladies take from this new type of commerce or these new opportunities where there's resources behind you playing basketball or not? I know people are, have questions about it, but I just love to hear, what your guys' thoughts on.
It's different than what we experienced. But I think there's so many opportunities for them to collaborate with so many big businesses or small businesses where usually when you're a student athlete, you don't get the opportunity to have internships or all these different type of things. And these are ways for them to kind of get their foot in the door and talk to people, shake hands with people in corporate spaces that possibly they wouldn't have been able to do because we spend all our time being student athletes. So I mean, it's good in that way as well. Like it's not just all about them getting money and getting paid for things, but able to shake certain hands that will definitely benefit you.
I agree. From a business standpoint, it's an excellent start for you to move forward financially, take care of your money, invest your money, start reading different things about investments. Even if you go to the bank, go open a bank account, and you start making some money. Start there. Start putting away half of whatever you bring in, and let that grow. And just see how rich you're going to be in a couple of years.
They pretty much said everything, but definitely get a financial consultant. If you educate yourself, like you said, educate yourself on what to do with your money. Be smart with your investments.
I love that. I definitely needed y'all to tell me that when I was 16. So women's basketball and women's sports in general, we know the momentum is crazy. It's on the rise. Viewerships are in the millions. Attendance is in the 10,000s. You got together they just sold $3 million worth of the Everyone Watches women's sports shirts. So as these things are happening, and shout out to Watch Party PHL because they host a women's sports watch party, bringing together the community that loves women's sports. So where do you see the future of basketball heading?
I mean, honestly, you can't even imagine because what we went through to like what we see now, we probably thought it would never be possible. I hope that the future is where it's even and like it's equal, where women are getting paid the same thing or the same percentage as the men are getting paid, where they're putting women's games on TV just as much as they're putting the men's games on TV, where we're getting all the same things that the other sex is getting because it's only right. Our game is just as important and just as entertaining as theirs.
If not more. Them men's games be snooze.
Exactly. So I want to see it where we're actually getting the opportunity to have that visibility that we deserve because it's rare.
I see it evolving from a summer league to a full league in due time.
Yeah. Players won't stop going overseas for the season. It's they'll be over here and in the summer you might have other rivalries.
Yeah, just went to Unrivaled. Yeah, I think it's really interesting what Unrivaled has been able to push. Just going this weekend, seeing that the average player makes the salary cap of the WNBA. That's gonna have to push a margin. Then you have the soccer player who just got the first $1 million contract. That all is a ripple effect that I think will lead over into more sports. Not that I asked myself this question, but just my opinion as a moderator. So I feel everything that you all are saying. So I know I know all of you had amazing athletic careers, student athletic careers, pro athletic careers. And my question first would be to Lady and Coach Lil, because you all work in, with Justice Impacted Youth, said you're a lawyer. How did you guys transition from being athletes into, working for the people?
Well, for myself, I actually started law while I was doing AAU. So I never went from one to the other. I stayed, and 2 years ago, I retired from the criminal justice system because I worked 3 years as a chief municipal public defender and 26 years as an assistant city solicitor for the city of Atlantic City, and I did a judicial law clerkship for the Superior Court of New Jersey. So I actually didn't transition from one to the other. I was coaching AAU, and that's how we was funding, getting these kids from Philadelphia out, using what funds and resources and fundraisers that we made to give them the opportunity to get scholarships to college. So I did both basketball and towards skills and all that at the same time. I retired at the same time. When COVID came along, that's when I stopped doing everything.
It's kind of was the same thing for me. Like I was a director for a GED program. I kind of was coaching basketball there. Became a director for a diversion program. And it kind of was like a way for us to connect. So I played basketball with the young men that are in my diversion program. And it's how I got to know their stories. I got to be able to make that connection. I got to help them get out of the justice system. So it's been like a connection for me. So I still play basketball while I'm working with them.
So the answer is
Still
you didn't
don't
just, the can't stop, won't stop law is life, no matter if you're an artist or a lawyer or a pro. Do you feel the same way, Portia? You just...
I didn't really stop. After college, I went overseas, and after overseas, I got into coaching, so
So you felt like the pathway just kind of built itself as you were going along, no matter kind of what you wanted to do post-career. It just was never actually really post-career. It's just extended. Because I feel like some athletes you're like, oh, what if I get injured? Or, oh, what if I don't love basketball anymore? What do I do afterwards? So it seems like the world is yours. It's your whole oyster. All right, we got a couple last questions, and I'll take a couple from the audience. I'm sure you guys are itching to ask good questions. So behind me is my collection, and I've been collecting all of these things since I was 10 years old. I'm 35 now. And my question to y'all is, how important is it for these young ladies up here, all the ladies around the world that be hooping, to know the history of specifically Black women's basketball, as far as like where it positions you as a player?
I think it's very important. Maybe pretty much I would say the kids that wind up getting drafted from Philadelphia into the WNBA, they came through my skills program or through our AAU program. My daughter actually plays for the New York Liberty. And Kalia Copper is also from Philadelphia.
AFC!
And she plays for Phoenix, and it's nothing that either one of them wouldn't do, because they're both from Philly, even though they think their pronunciation is from Delaware. She actually grew up here in Philadelphia for 13 years before we moved, because of everything that started happening with the Philadelphia becoming the #1 violent city, because they got caught in the crossfire. That's why I moved my kids when they were young. They got caught in the crossfire. But it's very important. They realize the importance themselves, because they come back and they participate in different programs going on here in Philadelphia and in different recreation centers. They do all that. They understand the importance of giving back, knowing what came before you, and paying it forward. And I hope that someday, should some of you decide that you want to pay it forward, you will pay it forward, because there's going to be more girls coming behind y'all who are going to have interest in sports as well. So take the time to put the time in, learn, and do your best, and you can be somebody who gives back also. We have all given back in one way or another, because somebody took the time out with us to make sure that we moved ahead in life.
you have this election, I think everybody really needs to be able to see it. And just like not seeing what the WNBA is now, but what came before that. Because you showing that opened my eyes to a little bit more than I remember. Like I grew up and I was watching YouTube and stuff, you know? Yeah, jerseys, I bought the jersey, everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that jersey.
There's more to just what we see now on TV, and I think us being able to see that and understand it, and just know that the ball didn't bounce before everything is.
It used to be no three-pointers.
No, it wasn't.
And I just learned, you told me about this 3-on-3. You didn't play with three-pointers?
You got all the buckets.
She got all the 4 Final Fours and no threes.
2,000 points on the table.
You,
Because my teammate, she scored 100 points ahead of me because I played every position. I wasn't just in the scoring position. I played point. I played the 2 for a year. I played the 3 for 3 years. So Val, she shot nothing but threes while we was in college. That's the kind of range that she had when we were at Cheney. And we both scored over 2,000 points in our career without having the assistance of a three-point line.
know your history.
And she's not even trying to talk heavy. It's just
Coach Lil, is important for them to know their history?
just because of that. Stuff like that. But also it helps you to respect the game and appreciate it more.
Yes.
And it helps you to want to put that time and effort in to get better. You know what I mean? Just knowing your history and knowing that we used to be outside till 12 o'clock at night playing basketball because we wanted to get better. You go home, go to sleep, and go outside and do the same thing. Every day, every day, every day. We didn't even think it was second nature to us. So that's why when I'm pushing the other young people right now, I care so much because I want y'all to get better. It helps y'all to appreciate the game, knowing the history. Those that came before you.
Last but certainly not least, definitely I want to thank PYB for hosting us in the space today. Philly Youth Basketball, give it up. As someone who is a coach mentor here and also played basketball as a young person, I've never been in a space with these type of resources before. And, you know, this question is for any of the coaches that are in the space, coach mentors. What would be, you know, just like a one-sentence, one-liner to inspire us to keep going and to keep, you know, flourishing in this space along with our youth?
Just let them know that they have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of times we get in uncomfortable positions and not doing things we always do. Just be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Time trial shows that it's working.
Time travel shows that it's working.
Keep
That's the
moving
next
forward.
shirt.
It's advanced. Winners, winners, advance.
Every player is different. A lot of times we get so caught up in thinking every player is the same. Every player is different. So you gotta work with each player different interactions, be patient with them. Every player is different. I
needed that one. Thank you, Coach Lil. Give it up for our amazing panelists. Happy National Girls and Women's Sports Day, y'all. Woo! Are there any questions from the audience? I think we got enough time to take two before we get hooping. I know we antsy. I know that back corner up there antsy to get hooping. I'll get you. It's all right. Don't be shy. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Was there a stuff like, you know, with layups when you're more dominant with one hand? Was it difficult to adapt to playing with both? Or was it always just easier to stay with one?
It's always a struggle. I didn't start shooting with my left hand until I was in 9th grade. Because I was playing in the gym. Like Coach said, I grew up playing with guys. Because there was only 2 other females in my neighborhood that played basketball, but they were older than me. So when I got in 9th grade and we were in the gym, he made me start to play the point and start dribbling with my left hand, coming up the court, making the guys pressure me, forcing me to go left. get someone to pressure you to go left and then make your change of direction, come back, and then head back left again. Whether you change it behind your back, but don't change it in front with the crossover, because that ball's gone, because you're not using that left hand well. Change your direction behind your back, or do that spin move. Get back to the left, so you keep going, doing change of directions drills with your left hand. Your left hand will improve, but you got to get the confidence first to use that left hand. And like I said, I didn't start using mine until I was told to use it. And Mr. Wright, who used to coach me at Mantua University, at Mantua Recreation Center, he did the same thing. But he made me bring the ball up full court with pressure, as opposed to when I was in the half-court set up in Germantown. But I just want y'all to know, even though the newspaper said what it said, it got wrong. I actually grew up in Pulaski Town, which is not far from here, in this Germantown section for 8 years in North Philadelphia, and then 6 years at the end of my adolescence in West Philadelphia. All my basketball knowledge, all my swimming, and all the sports I did, I learned at the Wissahickon Boys and Girls Club right here in Germantown.
Do we have
Don't
another?
be scared. Go, don't be scared.
Come on, Messiah. What's your
Don't be
question?
scared. Okay.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Okay.
She does have one.
I know.
She does. Well, we'll get one question and then we'll get Messiah. There was one over here. Coach Jones, you had a question?
I just want to tell all the young ladies here, get to know your Philadelphia history. There are some fabulous girls. Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, since I was the coach, she's number one. But get to know the interfaces out here. Of course, you got everybody that knows who's born serious, but there's a whole slew of girls.
And we all come from different eras, so like Ms. Jones said, there are a lot of great history, and Linda Page, like Ms. Jones just mentioned, she scored 100 points in the game. So played at Dobbins High School, but Linda Page was a shooter. And when I say shoot, that's all everybody wanted her to do. She had to play no defense. But she nicknamed the Hawkeye after Hawkeye Whitney, who was her favorite player when she wound up going to North Carolina State. So she's somebody that's in Philadelphia basketball, as well as Marilyn Stevens, who went to Temple, who holds the records at Temple and women for the accolades that she accomplished at Temple University.
Did y'all know that was a professional women's sports league here in Philadelphia?
The Lady Rage.
ABA.
Yeah, the ABA. You played for the Rage? Oh, okay. I couldn't find those jerseys nowhere. Couldn't dig them. That's a lot of what inspired me to this moment. That's how I actually got the grant to launch my museum publicly, was to continue to do more history and research. Like I said earlier, these women right here, the Tribune girls, specifically Ora Mae Washington, she was a tennis champion and beat Althea Gibson, I think in her 40s, and then went on to become a basketball champion. And as an artist, I studied a lot about the Harlem Renaissance and the artistic renaissance happening in the 30s and 40s, but I realized that there was also an athletic renaissance, and these ladies were all a part of that. And then, y'all trailblazed all the way, to now and where these ladies are. So if there's not any more questions, I think we can give in, Messiah? Bruh. Can we please give it up for our incredible panelists? So to let y'all know, this is how we're gonna transition, or were you gonna do that, or I could tell? Okay, Coach Z, I'm gonna pass it to Coach Zuri, Director of Older Year Programs here at Philly Youth Basketball. Clap it up.
On behalf of PYB, we again want to welcome y'all into this space. Anybody first time in the building? First time in the building? Yeah, a couple folks. So just so you understand, right? Probably most of the girls you see over here come here 2-3 times a week. Coach Jay coaches here 2-3 times a week, right? We have some other coaches in the building. We want to welcome folks if this is your first time to the PYB community, because the work that we're trying to do here, right, we want to make sure, one thing that I learned a long time ago is you may not necessarily always remember everything that you did, but there's going to be key people and key places that you went that will be a part of your story, and we never know what part of somebody else's story we're going to play. And so as our panelists spoke, we talked about key recreation centers and key programs that they were a part of that made them who they are today. PYB is just trying to be one step in folks' story. We want to be one safe space in this neighborhood for folks to come here. Basketball is clearly at the center of what we do, but just like all of our panelists, right, we want to make sure all of our youth in this building are well-rounded. So we do offer programming, girls and boys programming from K all the way to 18. And so if anybody's interested in joining the family, we're also going to be giving a couple tours so that folks can look around the building and understand everything that we offer. We have a mental wellness suite with a fitness center and a yoga center. We got 4 classrooms where we do off-court and we teach leadership development and social emotional learning, right? We got a behavior therapist that rocks out with all of our basketball programming to make sure that young people are getting a hold of their emotions as they're learning all of these games. We're sending kids off to internships all around the city, paying $16 an hour, right? And last but not least, we're getting folks connected to college, and we're trying to make sure that if they want to go to trade school or whatever they want to do after they turn 18, that they find that ecosystem right here in this building. So again, we thank you for coming here. We thank you for being here for this panel and celebrating the legends that are in our city. And we just want folks to know that we are here for you, all of the young folks. If you walk into that door, we will find a space for you. If you walk into that door, we will find a space for you, and we invite anybody that's connected to other organizations to just tap in with us, myself, Randy, any of the staff members here, and we want to get kids in here however y'all want to be in the building. Come through, all right, y'all? Thank y'all for coming. I'm going to give it back over to Watch Party because we are going to watch some games. We're going to play some hoops. Anybody hooping tonight? Raise your hand if you're hooping tonight. I feel like we can get an old head versus kids game, and that's what I feel like we can get done. But I'm gonna turn it over to Watch Party, who's going to just talk a little bit about the rest of the night.
Hey y'all, thanks for coming out. Thanks for having Watch Party here tonight. This has been an amazing event so far. I'm so honored to be sitting here right now with everyone, coach included. So real quick, what Watch Party does, we throw women's sports watch parties around the city, and we've been doing it for about a year now. 2 primary goals. The first one is to build a women's sports community here in Philly. We know that people in Philly watch sports. We know that people in Philly watch women's sports, and the goal is to build that community to show the WNBA and the NWSL that this is a town where team will thrive, and not only thrive, but we will be successful. And the way that we do that is by supporting women's sports in this city. Coming to the watch parties and showing that we can have a team here. So check out our table out there. Follow us on Instagram, Watch Party PHL, and we'll see you guys at the next watch party, which is right now. So we'll be showing NCAA women's basketball games out in the cafeteria area while the open play is happening. Please come watch the games with us, and we can talk more. Thanks.
Yeah, so no worries, it's kids getting to it. That's what the center's here for. So with that being said, we got a couple different options, right? We have our official, have some fun. Just don't hurt yourself on the way, but have some fun. We have our official PYB media team that's going to be able to take pictures over at our step-in replete. Please make sure you don't leave without tapping in and letting us know who you are, letting us know that you were here. Then we're going to transition, folks start getting dressed, you know what I'm saying, get them sneaks on. You know, and we do have bleachers and everything in the gym, so we're going to start setting up on 1 and 2. Anybody that's playing basketball, we're gonna start with an open and stretch circle. So I would love for one of our PYB students to lead our stretch circle so that we can get ourselves right. Oh, now you ready, now you volunteering. Oh, okay, cool, that's cool. You show your leadership however you wanna show it tonight, all right? Thank you for stepping up. And then from there, anybody that wants a tour, please just meet us up front, and we're gonna take anybody that would like to see the rest of the building on a quick tour. Thank y'all, thank y'all.
Can you get a picture of us real quick, babe? Or,